Hello, friends. This is David Bedrick. I'm going to be doing a live unshaming session with someone that I haven't worked with before, and I'm going to give people a few minutes to arrive. And I hope people... Oh, Gwen, great. I see you're there and you're waving, and then you're going to send a request. Right, and then I'm going to be able to invite you in a few minutes, just when I get people to show up. Hey, friends, Katie and Betsy and One Love Prison Meditation. Oh, awesome. And Kieran is here, Scarlet Priestess, good to see you. And thanks for helping set things up. Gwen, you have to make a request to be part of this so that I can eventually let you in. Pat Key and Denberg, Sarah, Sonia, Happy Heart. Okay, yeah. Tim here. Hey, Tim. Lizbeth. Saying people's names. Just say, oh, great, I got the request, Gwen. Perfect, and I'm going to let you in a couple of moments. And I think I'm going to make this even a little higher, maybe. Is that going to be screwy? Sorry, I'm just fixing my phone here. No, I better not do that. Okay. The thing's flipping in and out. Yeah, they are. Okay. Straighten it all out, David. Okay, I will. Let's see. It's got to be like that. Stay. Oh, that's the thing that makes it stay. Okay. There we go. Okay. This is going to be another session of UnShamed TV Live, a vision I had of bringing unshaming work to people. Someone described it as a kind of an free hour masterclass. Sometimes it's 45 minutes, sometimes an hour. And it really is because I'm offering the ideas about unshaming in many different formats and forums. And this one is a no-cost forum other than your time and energy and interest. So that's important for me to offer things at different price ranges and different availabilities, and making things public is really important. Unshaming is not just helping a person get rid of the shame they feel, but it's a new viewpoint. It's a way of looking at oneself or at another that says more than I hope you don't have to feel ashamed. It says shame is veiling the best of you, veiling the gifts of you, veiling the pain of you and the medicine that lives in that pain. So shame wraps itself around aspects of us, and then we don't get to know those things. So it's not just the feeling of being ashamed. That's a difficult feeling for many people, worthy of healing attention. But shame is a lens through which we see ourselves or don't see ourselves. And our blindness to ourselves, the dismissal of ourselves, the gaslighting and pathologization, meaning, what's wrong with me? Those ways of looking at oneself have huge implications for the flowering of our life, not just for the pain we're in. Because if we're not seen by ourselves or somebody or somebodies enough to know ourselves, then we feel like we don't matter. Why even live? Why express my needs? Why live my gifts? Why speak up? Why share anything? Or I just look at myself as an illness to be healed forever, indefinitely. This is I am. I'm a broken thing that can't get healed. And that's not so good for the project. I call it the life project, the project of becoming ourselves. Lately, lots of violence going on in the world. You all know that. So many places in the world highlighted these last month by the violence in the Middle East. I'm not going to address that politically at the moment because that's another topic, right? Worthy. I've put a lot of posts together about it if you want to know different views I have, but I don't want to get us into a political discussion right now. I'm interested in experience. And one thing UnShaming offers to the experiences of great violence and conflict is something other than the political polarization, which is super important. Political polarization means I stand here for this, I stand here for that. So important that people take stands and bring their voices and passions out and highlight injustice and pain and suffering and bring consciousness to bear on difficult places. And UnShaming says, let's take one more step. Let's get into the experience of people. What is it like to be that person? Not what is my viewpoint about the politics. What's it like? Because when we do that, humanization tends to happen, even with people we disagree with. I'm not saying, and therefore agree. I'm not saying bypass the differences. I'm saying, but the humanizing, even in our dialogue with each other, is an important thing. And that's one thing that UnShaming has to offer, among other things. So, okay, I'm going to invite Gwen in. Gwen is not somebody that I've worked with before, that I can remember at least. Gwen will correct me about that. I have a vision of working with people that I haven't already known. I don't really vet them for myself. Somebody else, Kieran Friesen, does. So to make sure people are okay with doing this and they know they're consenting to being in public and they know it's not like a therapy project or a long-term therapy project. But I don't get to know about what they're going to bring forward, so that my UnShaming eyes are new eyes, fresh eyes that are seeing something for the first time, so I can just look at it without an opinion, without an idea about what to do, but just looking. And because UnShaming is about witnessing. Okay, everybody, thank you for arriving here, and I'm going to invite Gwen in, and then now, and let's see if that's going to work. We hope. We hope. There she is.
Hi.
Hi there.
How are you?
Turning my thing louder. Oh, my these aren't working. Can you say just a few words again? I want to just check.
Hi.
Okay. This is not working, so I'm going to just use my phone. I must have not hooked that up. Okay. Say hi again.
Hello.
Okay. That's better. Okay. Thanks, Gwen. Hi, Gwen. I don't think we've worked together before in some way, have we? Have I?
No, not one-on-one, no.
Okay. We've in some other way, like in a group or something.
In the group training, the somatic training,
Oh,
yeah.
Somatic training. With Sigourney.
With Monty.
With Monty. Okay. Right. Okay. There's two different groups of people a number of groups, but two groups that call themselves somatic something or other. I love teaching that group. It was such an honor to be part of that.
Yeah, no, it was amazing. It's amazing.
Beautiful. Tell me what's on your mind or heart, and then just want to say, sometimes you'll see me like this, and that's not just so you can see my bold spot, although it's kind of a good one. It's because I take notes.
Okay.
So if I'm like this, I'm not like, I don't know what I'm not doing. I'm not doing crossword puzzles. I don't know. But what I'm doing is I'm making notes because I want to remember the things you say. And then I always tell people, Gwen, that one of the things that's different about what I do here than what I would do, I don't really see many people on individual sessions at this point, but if I were working with a person, or if somebody were working with a person doing UnShaming work, they wouldn't be talking about and explaining what they're doing while they're doing it. But because this is an educational format, I'll be saying, just wait there for a second, Gwen. I want to tell everybody why I'm doing what I'm doing. So that's like trying to mix in the educational function for everyone along with helping you and make it useful. Okay. Great. Tell us what's on your mind or heart, or what we can maybe help you with.
Okay, yeah. So I already knew as soon as Kieran reached out to me, I kind of knew what I wanted to, even what's coming alive for me recently.
Yeah.
Is yeah. So I guess the word that I would use for it would be imposter syndrome.
Oh.
Yeah. Just I guess I have a lot of these ideas around what it is to be a leader and a coach in this field of self-development, and I I think that a lot of times I struggle with feeling like I don't have enough education and kind of feeling like I need to constantly be digesting information so that I can be a better coach, so that I could be a better leader. And that is something that I've been working with lately. Yeah.
Yeah. There's an idea about, one idea is that you're wanting to learn more and be educated more and get better, and that's fine by itself, if nothing else. But something else goes with it, if I'm understanding, always correct me, but something else goes with it that says, and you're not there yet, and maybe you'll never be there. So it's not just like I would love to learn, I want to study, I love learning, I'm getting better at what I do. That sounds good. But it's more of as if somebody's sitting around with you saying, you're not good enough, you're not educated enough, you better do more. Something like that is happening.
Yes.
That's important. And so one thing that's happening, is to say to everybody, is we could say that's an inner criticism, meaning it's as if there's a figure, that means a person, I call it a ghost, meaning not like woo ghost, but somebody we can't see that sits there. I have an inner critic that sits here. He says, David, you're not doing this, you should be doing this, and, right? I'm writing a book and it tells me why the sentences are wrong and whatever. And so something, we can call that an inner critic. That's important in unshaming work, to get to know what that inner critic is saying and what your response is. And then there's somebody who's a leader and a coach. Yeah, who thinks, and the idea of an imposter.
Yeah.
And tell me what and how does the imposter go? Part of it is, I hear the inner criticism. You're not good enough to be a leader and a coach. That lives inside of you and outside in certain worlds. And what's the imposter part?
Yeah, the imposter part is that I almost feel like I guess the word I would use would be like a fraud, or like I'm not good enough to be in a position to be teaching people, to be leading people. And I feel like it's like, yeah, I feel like the best way to describe it would be like, I almost feel like a fraud. Like, I don't have enough experience to be in that position.
Right. I see. So there's a criticism. You're not really there yet. You're not educated. You're not far enough along. And then when you put yourself forward as a leader or coach, then some way you feel like, this is not really me. I'm acting like I'm a surgeon, but I didn't study surgery, or something like that. Yeah. By the way, I'm not really a doctor, right? Or something like that. You feel something like that.
Yeah.
Very important. I'm just thinking out loud now, because there's a few different directions we could go. We could go into that inner criticism problem. You're not really there yet. You're an imposter. That's important. As an inner dialogue to unshame, witness, and bring out. And then there's the person who comes out, what would I say? The person who somebody calls a fraud, who she really is, not just a criticism. Who is this person we're calling a fraud? What kind of coach or leader is she exactly? Yeah, I'm thinking of both those. Maybe both are important. Does one direction appeal to you more than another, or something else? What happens when I say that?
I think the first one sounds appealing. Sounds very appealing. Yeah.
Okay. And I'm asking that, Gwen, and I'm saying that to everybody, because in the unshaming idea, I don't have an answer. Because somebody else might say, imposter syndrome. Yes, I've worked with that many times. I'm the imposter syndrome coach. That's great. I think that's wonderful if somebody did that. I think, I'm a procrastination coach. That's great. But in the unshaming paradigm, I don't assume I have the answer. I know what imposter syndrome is. I know what you need to learn. I know I got to tell you you're okay. I got to tell you it's not true. I think you know what to do about it deep inside, and I have to help you get in touch with your truth about this whole issue, what your medicine is. So I don't think here's the steps to deal with that. I think you know those steps, and when I help you find your steps, it's going to be more sustainable than any of the steps I could give you, because it came out of you. Otherwise, you're following David's idea. They could be great ideas, but they may not be lined up exactly with what Gwen's idea is, and that's important to me. And then if we have your ideas, your sovereignty, your authority, you're the leader of this session, not me. I'm a follower, a very close follower to everything you're saying, but I'm following you because you're leading. So I just want to say to people, unshaming has that deep bow to the authority or sovereignty of the other person, as opposed to me as an authority who knows better. The only thing I claim to know better is how to help you get there. But where we get, I see things all the time I've never thought of before. Yeah. Okay. Let's assume that I'm Gwen.
Okay.
And that you are a person who thinks you're a fraud, you don't have enough education, you're not there yet.
Okay.
Be somebody in your head, or that you've heard say things like that to you. And I'll be Gwen and talk to me. And the reason why I'm doing that, Gwen, everybody, to unshame, I have to know, what is this thing? What is she experiencing? What's it like? And I don't really know. I have an idea, but I don't know what it's really like. So I want to feel what it's like to be treated this way. I want to feel, because I want to have an emotional connection with what is happening for you. So go ahead. Tell me why I'm not good enough and why I don't have the education and I'm a fraud and all that stuff.
I think you need to be healed a little bit more before you can go into the realm of helping others. I think you there's a lot of things that feel like you're unhealed or you're unresolved in for you to help other people.
I'm not healed enough?
Yeah.
How do you, dear whoever you are, what do you say is unhealed about me? And now I'm not thinking this voice is right or wrong, everybody. I'm just wanting to get to know it. She has an opinion about my healing. I'm interested in hearing. How am I unhealed, dear whoever you are?
Well, there's a lot of things you still haven't figured out in life, and you need to have more things figured out, like almost kind of grow up a little bit.
What does a grown up look like that I don't look like? Because I don't know. There are a lot of viewpoints about grown ups. I'm interested in yours. What does a grown up look like that would be different than how I am?
A grown up would look like regulated human being. They can function every single day. They can wake up in the morning and they are excited about life, and they can get through the day without feeling huge emotions and letting those emotions derail them.
Big. That's very, very helpful.
Yeah.
That's very helpful. See, now if I went on, Gwen and everybody, with saying, oh, I know what to do about imposter syndrome, I wouldn't know what actually is being said to you. What's gotten in? What gets in, what's gotten into you? I wouldn't know, like it would be like having someone say, I'm sick, and I'd say, oh, I know how to heal you. And I'd say, well, do you have the flu or do you have a bacterial infection? Because if you have a viral infection, I wouldn't, then antibiotics not going to help. It would be nice to know those things. So I'm learning about this thing, and now I'm hearing things, very interesting things about this opinion about you. And you started doing something very interesting. You started changing your tone, like, well, you should be functioning every day. Like you were mocking it a little bit. And the reason why that's important to me, Gwen and everybody, is when Gwen is mocking it, that means part of her doesn't agree, right? If I say, well, they said to me, well, David, you should, if I'm mimicking, mocking, then that means I don't agree, right? I have a counter viewpoint. So that means that Gwen is already has parts of her that disagree with this viewpoint. That's why she wouldn't mock or mimic. It's not because I disagree. I could say those are dumb ideas or something, but Gwen herself has a disagreement, and I don't know what that disagreement is. So we're going to switch now. I'm going to be that ghost, that critic, and I want you to respond freely. But for this exercise, I want you to take Gwen's side as fiercely as you can. Like you're Gwen's best friend, you're her coach, and your job is to defend her as strongly as you can. Okay, everybody, do I think that's the only truth? There is no only truth, but there is two voices, one that says this and somebody else who disagrees. So I'm not thinking which one is right. I'm thinking they both are real. They both live. They both exist. And this dynamic has something powerful about it. Something challenges Gwen and somebody disagrees. So become Gwen's ally, her ally that's going to help her, that's not going to put up with any bullshit, right?
Okay.
Okay, and you tell me when you're ready. Mm-hmm.
I'm ready.
Great, that was really important to me. Gwen closed her eyes. She took some moments and took some deep breaths. That's very important to me, everybody, because it makes me weepy, actually, because I just saw part of the answer. See, she said, I didn't know she was going to do that, but she took time. She closed her eyes. She puts her head back a little bit. She's connecting with herself. She's connecting to a deep feeling or truth in herself. That's not a imposter. That's true. Because when a person goes, if I say to David, what's going on? I kind of go, give me a moment, Gwen. I'm going deep inside. I'm going to connect with myself. I'm not about to tell you some bullshit. I'm about to tell you what is deep inside of me. So I'm seeing how you access, right? I see how Gwen gets there. And that's very important. So I just saw that. That was really beautiful. And I go back there again, Gwen. I didn't want to talk over that. But my medicine, unshaming, means pay attention to the person, David. They're going to show you their path. Mm-hmm. Take that closed eyes, deep breath again, so that you're close to whatever is deeply inside of you. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, and the breath, so interesting. I never saw that before. I've seen people go inside and close their eyes, but the kind of breath, what do I make of that? I don't make anything other than it's Gwen's way. It's her non-imposter, authentic way. That's what I know. Okay, here it comes. Here it comes. Stay with yourself and your support, your advocacy for Gwen. Gwen, you know, you really need to get it together. You need to be more healed. And if you were, you'd be regulated, you'd be functioning every day. You certainly wouldn't get into these huge emotions that can derail you. You know, you'd be excited all the time. That's my view of it. That I think that would be being an adult. What do you have to say about that? Mm-hmm.
I think Gwen is a big feeling person, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think that actually can be a gift.
Really? What kind of gift is big feelings. To me over here, I think big feelings make people unclear, make them messy, make them not able to think clearly and talk clearly, and it doesn't look good to me. It looks like a child that hasn't grown up to be. I'm winking to me. Stay with it, Gwen.
I think that a lot of people feel big emotions, but they don't allow themselves to actually go in there. Whereas Gwen lets herself go.
That's really important. So one of the things I'm learning, everyone, Gwen just gave me another tip in terms of we're following a river, right? I need to deal with imposter syndrome. Oh, it's a voice, like a voice thing. Oh, it's an internalized oppressive voice, an inner critic. Oh, what does the critic say? Oh, it says these things. Oh, Gwen mocks it. She has a disagreement. Let's disagree with it. Oh, when she does that, she gets in touch with herself deeply. I'm following a river, you see, and it's her river. I'm on a boat with Gwen, and I'm like, I want to follow your river. I don't have an opinion about what you should do. I'm not writing a book saying this is the answer to imposter syndrome. I think Gwen has the book, the answer inside of her. And now she brings up something. The critic says you have these emotions, and she says, when I disagree with that critic, I want to talk about emotions. She could talk about functioning and other stuff, but she focuses on emotions. And I think when a person focuses, they're showing me their intelligence. So that's saying to me, something about this question of imposter syndrome, something about the answer has to do with emotions, because Gwen is saying that's part of the argument I want to stay with. Somebody says, emotions, get rid of them, you'll be an adult. And someone says emotions, those are the things people need help with. We have our disagreement is coming more foundational. And now I want to know more. I'm going to drop the dialogue for a moment. I'm not going to be this part. I want to now support you, Gwen, that side. And I want to know more about the woman or person you are who has big emotions. Because big emotions are being put down, you see, specifically. And big emotions is what she's needing advocacy for. Tell me about big emotions, the intelligence of big emotions. Why are big emotions needed in the world? Mm-hmm.
Well, I feel like and I think it's hard for me to go throughout the world and not feel the impact of things that happen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And what do you think of, and if there's a person over here who says, well, I think we should just bypass emotions, get rid of them, heal them so they're gone so we can function better. What would you say to me?
I would say that feels like self-suppression, and that doesn't feel good either.
You're saying I'm suppressing myself. If I feel really upset and I just try to get rid of that so I can function, that I'm suppressing, I'm not healing myself and becoming an adult, I'm suppressing myself?
Yeah. Yes.
Oh, whoa. This guy over here would say, I never thought of that, or I would just disagree with you or something like that. Mm-hmm. I'm learning more about that. That's part of what needs to be supported inside of you. That when you come out as the leader coach that you are, then you have to say, you don't have to say this, but I'm suggesting it, right? Then you have to come out with one of the ways that I'm a leader and a coach is that I value forward, these are my language, value forward, feel like our emotional life is incredibly important, shouldn't be looked at as something to suppress and get rid of, but should be highly valued. That's not an imposter, that's the real you. I know that because you showed it to me. You didn't make it up to impress me. You're like, yeah, this is what I really feel and believe inside. So that's something to make sure you hold on to dearly and promote. Because if you come out and say, well, I'm going to try to be a decent coach and a good coach and leader because I know a lot of stuff and I'm smart because I've been educated, great, be smart and be educated. But that doesn't say, and I have a thing that I stand for that's part of my own gift. You can't learn that. This is because of the kind of person I am. I'm a very emotional person. Somebody else could be a different kind of person. Good for them. They should bring that out. But you could say, I'm a very emotional person, and that's part of my medicine. You have to bring that forward even more. Nobody can educate you about your emotions. You can learn, you can educate them how to get in touch with them and believe in them more. So we have emotional intelligence, but no one can make you a more emotional person, have that part of your gift. That comes with you. That gets born into you. Other people have other gifts. That's yours. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so that's one thing. Now we have to take one more step. I want to try to take one more step. So we're already following the path. You see, people, I already know now. I can give her some counsel. Bring your emotions out. Speak about them as being very important, because I know those particularly need protected. And I know if she doesn't come out with it, they'll be pushed back and she'll feel like imposter syndrome. I don't know that because of my theory. Gwen showed that to me. Unshaming got me to see that. That's very important to me. Otherwise, I give her medicine and it's not hers, but this is hers. Okay, I want to say one more. Let's go one more step. Now I want to know what it's like to be an emotional person, not the ideas about them. We've got good ideas about them, suppressiveness, and what an adult is, and being in touch with emotions, but what it's like. And Gwen, can you make contact with an event recently, or a moment recently that you had strong emotions about?
Mm. Yeah, I mean, in general, I think recently I've been feeling a lot of rage.
Mhm.
Actually, not in any particular event. I think just um, I'm angry. I've been angry at past men. That's been surfacing a lot, and so yeah, I've been working with a lot of my own rage.
Yeah. I lost it. It got a little blurred when you said your anger comes up about, and I didn't hear that. What is it?
um,
Past something.
my past relationships.
Past relationships.
Yeah.
Great. And now, people, I'm not going to try to help her with the past relationships. That would have been a different topic. We could have started there. But what I'm now interested in is, we talked about the emotion. We got to the fact that it's emotions. That is where the crux is. Bringing out her emotions, valuing her emotions, valuing her coaching and her depth of intelligence around emotions. We got to that. And now I want to go one more step to the unshaming. I want to make sure that the emotional person she is, not just her ideas about it, is being held and known. What is she like? I don't know. We have to unshame to get to know that. And that's why I'm asking Gwen about an emotional moment, because I want her now to be in touch with the experience, not the opinions about, the experience of her emotions. I want to find out what she's like. And she says, well, one of the emotions I experience is rage. Mm-hmm. I love that. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Rage is a really important thing, because with rage comes a lot of shaming. You shouldn't have it. It's bad. You should get over it. You should get healed. It's because you have a problem in your life and you haven't gotten over it and you're still raging, etc. And I noticed you did something that many people who have a little bit of shame around anger and rage does. You did something that many people do. They mention rage, and then they switch the word to anger, and they switch the word to rage. Do you have an idea of why?
Yeah, because it feels like it's, I guess when I say it out loud, when I say the word even rage out loud, it just feels like too much.
Yes, that's the thing. Somebody says rage, and then they no, it's not. I'm going to exaggerate now. You didn't say it. It's not really rage. I'm just kind of angry. Well, I'm a little upset. Well, I get a little tiny frustrated, right? Like, and make it smaller so that it's not being looked at. I call that as a pathology. This is what's wrong with you, and you haven't gotten over it. And if you got over it, that's a pathology, meaning that's something wrong with you. We should heal it, make it go away so that you don't have it. So some people do that. So I'm listening with my unshaming eye, say, oh, anger is good, but rage is being muted. What is rage? I don't know yet. She hasn't showed me. It's an idea. Somebody will say, I know what rage is, but I don't know what Gwen's rage is, you see. I know David's rage or somebody else's. So that rage has got an intelligence in it, and I want to make sure Gwen is in touch with the intelligence of her rage. Some people talk about emotional intelligence, and I've read a lot of books about emotional intelligence. And here's one thing I've never heard anybody say totally clearly. What is emotional intelligence? And I can tell you, it's the intelligence of emotions, period. That's it. What does that mean? That means our emotions, this case rage, knows something. It connects with a power. It sees things that other things can't see. It has intelligence, meaning it connects to certain things inside you or outside that are part of the intelligence of your system, your organic system. Like we poke at an animal, it does certain things. We think there's an intelligence in that animal, it reacts in certain ways. And I think rage is like that in all emotions. So we're working on emotional intelligence. That's how I would think about that. And then we know what shame does is it veils and mutes. Let's make it small enough so that it's manageable and we don't get too upset and we don't want to send you away to your room or give you some diagnosis and put you in a clinic on drugs or whatever. That's what they did to women, especially for the beginning of psychology. Women who had strong emotions were pathologized, right? They were called hysterical. That was the only psychological diagnosis in the early 1900s was hysteria. And it was mostly women who were, I'm quoting, hysterical, meaning emotional, upset women. Anyway, that's a whole story about that. I won't say more, but that's really important. Okay, go back to thinking about those relationships or a relationship that upsets you. Take a moment.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And that breath happens again. That's what she does when she's in touch with something. And feel the rage first in your body as a somatic experience. That means a feeling experience, not an idea. Put the word rage now apart, away, and just connect with the energy that lives in your body. You want to take away language, people, for a moment, because language comes with shame. Rage is not a good thing. And we just want her body's intelligence now, not any theory about rage or anger. Mm-hmm. And what's that energy like, Gwen? Whoops, I'm losing your voice.
Can you hear me?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah. It feels like my whole body is lit up and I feel like my body's almost on fire. With yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful. And stay with that lit up fire. Let your awareness be with that energy as you feel it in the body, the lit up fire. And imagine that I could do something to make that light brighter and that fire more hotter or fuller. And let it grow. And if it can't do that, imagine the light gets lighter, more bright, and the fire gets more flamey and full or hotter. We could really increase it and stay with that, Gwen. I want to say something to everybody. The reason why I'm amplifying is because remember, shame mutes. Oh, let's make rage into anger into something else. We want to amplify it so it's known. So it's just like we do with a marginalized voice in the world. We want to stand for that voice. We want to stand for the raging voice. Lift it. We lift every voice. We want to lift this voice. That's what we do to unshame. Stay with it. The light gets brighter. The fire gets more flaming, fuller. Mm-hmm. And what happens to it as it grows?
It starts to burn down things.
Uh-huh. Great.
Yeah.
Great. And do you see it doing that, or do you sense that, or?
I see it.
That's what I thought. She's now seeing. That's an experience. Her eyes are seeing it. And go ahead and look at that fire burning things down. And if you can look at it through unshaming eyes, that means for a moment, enjoy it. I'm not saying she should light fires and burn things for everybody. I'm just getting to know her experience. Imagine that fire starts burning and go ahead and watch it and see if you can enjoy it. Like, yes, that fire burning things down. Advocate for your inside yourself. Something is needing. We need a fire to burn things down. Stay with that idea for a moment. Mm-hmm. And tell me more. If you were that fire and you could burn things down, mm-hmm, what would you burn down, Gwen? Mm-hmm.
I would burn down any and all of the violations that I've experienced.
Wow. Uh-huh. That's deep. You wouldn't just disagree with them. She's saying, you see, friends, you were talking about rage and a fire. She's not saying, well, that's not okay with me. I have to set a boundary. I don't like that. She's saying, I burn them down. That's how much fire lives in her about violation. And that's important. I think that's intelligent. Mm-hmm. Burning it down. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And go ahead and feel that. And let's go one more step. Can you make a motion with one of your hands to show me the burning down fire? Let's see it. Or both of your hands. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like,
Whoa. Yeah, stay with it, Gwen. Believe in it, or stay with her, asking her body for help make a deep experience so this rage lives. And she's going to need it, by the way, when something says she's an imposter, because it's a violation, you see. Stay with it and let it grow and let those hands amplify as if they were freer to do whatever they're doing, but freer to do it more so. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And more as if you can be totally free now and let out a sound that goes with that movement. Ah, the breath comes back. Uh-huh.
ha.
Uh-huh. It's ha. And then the voice goes ha, and then a sound comes that's deeper. Go with the beginning breath and and then bring that deeper sound out. And then the next. Ah. Ah. Mm-hmm. And one more time, and this time as that sound's about to come out, put 1 to 3 words to it.
No.
Whoa. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. And stay with that energy and that part of you, that fiery part, fiery woman spirit, whatever that is, that goes, no. And then I want to ask her a question. Stay as her, the fiery, burning down woman. What kind of coach are you? I never met a coach who goes, no. I heard coaches who like study stuff and tell me what they know. What kind of coach are you?
I breathe fire.
You do? Why would I need to come to you for coaching? Don't I want to be regulated and functional, and I want to calm my emotions down?
No. No.
Don't do it?
No, don't do it.
Why not? Won't that, then people will, then I'll be, get along with my relationships much better if I'm calmer.
No.
Do you know something that I don't know?
We need this fire.
We do? Who's we?
The world.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I never thought I was going to find a leader who said you need fire. I thought I was going to have leaders who were going to say, okay, everybody settle down, get calm, get regulated, get functional in your everyday. You're a different kind of leader, aren't you?
Yeah.
What kind of leader are you? Fire woman, rage woman.
Mm. I'm a stand for justice and for protecting boundaries.
Wow. Yeah. That's important. That's the next step. And you're going to learn more about that woman. But protection and boundaries. See, I'm taking her back to the leader coach because we don't just want to say, no, you're not an imposter. We want to find out who the real Gwen is and what she believes and how she does this job. Who's the non-imposter, really? Not just an idea, but so deeply because we know it lives in her because she's showing it. And what lives in her is, no, I'm an emotional person. Suppressing emotion is not my way. I don't believe in that. I have a lot of rage in me. But really, deep down, it's a fire that wants to help people with their boundaries and violation and saying no. Mm-hmm. And bringing out injustices in their lives, in their relationships.
That's the kind of person, and I don't have to learn anything to do that. That lives inside of me. I can learn skills. I'm happy to learn skills. But who I am, the authentic me, this is it. This is her.
Yeah.
This is what I know about myself. No one can call that an imposter. That's always been me. That's what I want to give you back because you're showing that to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anything else you want to say? I know we'll close up soon because of time. Anything else you want to say or ask or anything? Yeah, there's that breath. Yeah.
That just felt so nourishing. Be in that space,
Yeah.
in that space.
Yeah. You could prepare whenever you see a client, you should take some, I don't know, you should. This is my thought, right? Take time and kind of go, fire, protection, boundaries, who you are. That's, and get in touch with that. And when you promote yourself, bring a little bit more of that out. Because if it gets suppressed so you could be a person who looks more functional, it's going to backfire on you because you're going to try to look one way and it's not all of you. And then you're going to feel like you're an imposter and it's going to be a tiny little bit true. The truth is, you're right. I'm not showing you how I really am. I'm trying to act a little bit more functional, educated, and a little less emotional and powerful as I am. And that way you're not being your total real self. Make sense?
Yeah.
Say, oh, I'm an imposter. You're right. I should come out much more as emotional.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. And if we go further, everybody, we would talk about the fact that I'm talking to a woman about taming her emotions, making her more regulated, not having such big feelings, not having rage. And we might find that that part of her that says you need to be functional, etc., is a little slice or a big slice of internalized sexism. It might be, it might not. I'd have to talk to Gwen more about that. But it wouldn't be uncommon, right, for a woman to think, if I want to come out in the world and be an authority, I better not be too fiery, full of emotion, because that's women are emotional. All that sexist ideas come in. So I just want to say that we didn't go into that. But what the issue she's bringing up is not only a personal issue, it's also a social issue, because some people think that that being more with their brains and less with their emotions is a better way of being. And that feeds into a gender biased notion. I just want to say that, and a racial notion as well. Because if you're a woman of color, then it'd be like, oh, rage is even more dangerous. That's dangerous. People are going to see you as an angry black woman. Can you follow? So we have gender and racial implications. We didn't talk about that, but I'm thinking those. I want to teach about those, everybody, so we kind of know, right? Then that person might be more likely to think, I better not be that way because the world's not going to like that. They're going to nail me, name me, label me, and diagnose me and things like that. Yeah. Gwen, amazing. Thank you so much. It's such a clear example of working with emotions and then a route to dealing with what some people call imposter syndrome. Why am I saying some people call? Because right now I wouldn't call it that anymore. Why? There's no reason for the words. Yeah. The word imposter syndrome is a set of words that stands for an experience. When we unshame, we know the experience, right? If we could start now, if we could say, well, David, inside of me, there's an idea that I internalized. Some of it's sexist, some of it's from family, that I, as a leader and coach, ought to be a certain kind of way. But not all of me agrees with that, but it puts me down. It makes me feel not good about myself. And that would be not only replace the idea of imposter syndrome, but look at how much more information than what I just said is versus that label. That label is almost like, it almost takes us the wrong way. But what I just said is like, oh, that's what's going on. What's your emotion like? We now have an understanding of you that's much better than the label. Labels tend to diagnose and pathologize. I got this syndrome, I'm screwed up. Where if you just say, hey, look, I'm a living person, I internalize certain ideas, I got them from who knows where, from a world, a sexist world, and my family, and as a woman, and then some of us have gotten in, David, and they take me away from my deepest gifts. We wouldn't think, oh, that's a pathology. We would think, oh, I get it. We say, well, I have a syndrome. Can you follow? Then we start thinking about ourselves as having like a psychological illness. It's a slight difference, but it's a big difference in how we feel about ourselves, and that's part of the unshaming. is getting rid of those labels, and now knowing I can tell you more about what I'm really, I don't have to spend an hour, I can tell you in one phrase, but I can tell you more about what's really going on inside of me in a way that's not about a pathology. It's around being a person in the world, having a history as a child, having a history as a woman, being in a certain planet, having certain gifts about emotions. We don't need any ideas about something's wrong to do that, and we'll get much further with those ideas. So great. Everybody, yay. If anybody wants to write anything, I can't put another person on because that would take too long, but if anybody wants to write a statement or a question, I can try to respond for another few minutes before I have to go. Gwen, that was really so important for me and for teaching people inner criticism, the value of emotions, the problem of labeling, all those things that shame highlights, and then the path of following another person's intelligence, their sovereignty, their authority, not my authority because I know better about imposter syndrome, but Gwen's path and her answer. Who would know? If somebody said I have an imposter syndrome, who would know to say that maybe they have emotional intelligence and not free to be in their own rage? We don't know those things.
Right.
We have to.
Right.
We have to. That's in you. That answer's in you. No book will say that. They'll say other things. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
That's important to me. So great to meet you, and I'm privileged of taught for Mani. What the class is called? Remind me of what the class is called.
The Somatic for Women's Institute.
Yes. Yes. I had the great opportunity to be, as far as I know, there's many women who taught there. The only man, I don't know. I'm shy about that, but I was very proud to be invited, and I know think a lot about gender and stuff, and I know a lot of people have appreciated me there, but I always felt like what a privilege it is, I should say it that way, to be invited and to, take on the role of teacher in that setting. Yeah. Oh, great, Phoenix. Glad you got to see it. You got to see some unshaming, what it looks like, not just the theories. I can post in reels, I can say things about it, but I can't show it. Because when I went to school to study psychology in graduate school, I never saw my professors do it. They just talked about it. They never sat in front of somebody who said, I got a problem. They never sat in front of somebody who said, fuck you, who do you think you are? So I'm like, how do you do that? I've had people who curse me, who hate my guts. I never watched them do it. And I thought they should have the guts to do it, and then maybe it won't work out so good. But then show me, what does it look like to do the theories you're showing me? So I've had a dedication since then. And then I studied with Arnie Mindell in process-oriented psychology, because in part I loved his psychology, but I loved that he would work with people in front of me like we're doing here, so I can kind of see, oh, he's actually showing me what he's talking about. That's good. He's not just telling me, right? He didn't talk about his theory, but I'm like, you're actually doing that right in front of me, and it's yeah. Then people can see if somebody says that doesn't resonate for me, I'm the wrong person. Don't study with me, right? But if someone says, oh, that really resonates, then you could study with me, or follow me on Instagram, or watch free episodes, or buy my 4th book, which is not going to be another month. But I'm very close to having it finished, so I'm really proud of that too. It's a big moment. Yeah. Yeah. And wait one more minute in case anybody else wants to say anything, and we'll close up. Yeah. Oh, thank you, Benina Rosa. I don't know if I say it, Rosas. Benina, thank you, Benina. So glad you could be here and create a holding and learned. Brian, you missed the thing in Live Aware. You missed the thing, but it will be saved on Instagram, and then on all of the episodes are on YouTube. And if you go to my link tree, you can find a link to the YouTube episodes, and I don't know, there may be 14, 15, or I don't know how many episodes, and you could watch them and study them, and that's what they're meant for, like master classes. You can also take a monthly class with me. It's called UnShamed Monthly Medicine. That's only $45. I made that as a next step because I spend usually about 2 to 3 hours. People can ask questions, and I model things and talk about topics as a next step of learning. But you can also just read my books. They're very inexpensive, or Google my name and find like 80, 90 articles on Psych Today. those are no cost, or watch these at no cost, or watch reels and things like that. So depending on, or you can join a year-long training, and those are even more expensive. So there's a range of expenses or ways of studying with me. Yeah. You're welcome, Brian. Divine Destiny, you missed the session, but it will be recorded. Yeah. People are joining us a little late. Great. Gwen, I'm going to write to you in a moment because I have a question for you. So I'll write on message, but I won't do that here at the moment. Thank you, everybody. Lots of love. Have a good days and weekends, and I hope for a little more peace in the world.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Bye.